Welcome to the very first episode of Art Gem Interviews. This first week, host Max White will be interviewing a very talented artist here in New York City named Michel Vazirani. He'll be playing two performances, the first on the guitar, a song called For My Teachers that he created, and the second an arrangement on the tabla drums. After the performances, please enjoy the artist interview and learn about their craft. Please enjoy the first episode of Art Gem Interviews.
Thank you for listening to my piece For My Teachers on the guitar. Now I'm going to play some music for you on the tabla. This is the Indian tabla. I'm going to play what are known as a qaida and a rela in the 16-beat rhythm cycle of tintal.
Hey everyone, it's Max from Art Gem Interviews. I'm sitting here with Michel Vazirani today. How's it going?
Hello. I'm doing well, thanks. How are you?
Good. Thank you for being here. So, we all want to know, what kind of art do you make?
I make music. I'm in my DNA a rock musician, but I have influences from jazz, from fusion, from Indian music, from techno, from prog. So I try to mix it up as much as possible. If you listen to my music and like what I feel most comfortable creating, it's rock based. Yeah.
And so, why do you like to make art?
In terms of music in particular, the most exciting for me is when it becomes linguistic. I like improvising a lot, and I like to see players that improvise together, and I like improvising with other players, trading phrases back and forth, coming back to motifs, even in the structure of a piece of music at the macro scale. I think the way that you play with motifs and bring them in and out, I don't know, it all feels very linguistic to me in that it's like punctuations through time. And, I don't know for sure, but I suspect there's some similar neurons that process speech that also process music, I suspect. So that's the most exciting thing for me, is when it becomes linguistic, and I feel like it's communicating something.
Great. So, would you say that art has an effect on the way you live your life?
Yeah, I mean, as much as anything anyone loves has, if you love something, you do it a lot, and it has an effect on your life. On the way I live my life, it makes me more spacey and more in my head, just like jamming to tunes in my head and not paying attention when I'm crossing the street. So I think that's the biggest direct impact on day-to-day living.
Nice. And I heard you mentioned some of your inspirations, but would you feel like you have a genre that you fit into, or would you say you kind of have your own genre?
I don't know if it's fair for like any individual to say that they have their own genre, because I think the whole point of genre is that it's a way to group many people. So if you're saying that you have your own genre, then you're kind of, just too afraid to say that you don't fit into any of the existing genres. And I'm not 100% sure that I fit into the existing genres. I think I'm reminded of a Frank Zappa quote where he said, my music isn't rock music, but it would appeal to a rock audience. And I think that's what sort of defines my music. I mean, I prefer instrumental music. I like to play with both, complex chords and distorted, heavy sections. But I think it has the energy of rock music at its core. So.
Nice. Great. And so you mentioned Frank Zappa there. What do you see in other people's work that interests you? Where do you look for inspiration?
Yeah, I mean, it comes from everywhere. I think, like any artist, the artist that they are at in that moment is some combination of every piece of art that they've ever seen, and I think that's regardless of taste, whether you liked it or not. You can be influenced by things that you don't like, because then you don't repeat those things. That if you analyze, what you didn't like about a piece of art, then you tailor yourself in that way. Artists that inspire me the most are, in a very like cocky way, like virtuosos, like instrumentalists that really are able to just completely be one with their instrument and express anything that comes to their mind. And that, I mean, those musicians are like the it for me. Like if I could be my ideal, like who I would want to be as a person, I would be like a guitar god or a trumpet god or a drum god or some, I don't know, but I say all of this super hesitantly because, like, as a disclaimer, I don't think music needs to be complex to be good. It's just people that the more intention you can put behind everything that you're playing, I think it becomes more interesting. Yeah.
Definitely, I agree. So how many days a week do you practice?
So it depends what you mean by practice. If I'm recording music and I'm like working on a track, then I might be recording every day, but I'm not necessarily practicing what I'm playing every day or while I'm doing that. It is repetition, but it's more repetition because I keep messing it up rather than to perfect it. But the one instrument that I even though I probably practice it the least when I do practice it, so I play both guitar and the tabla. The tabla is an Indian hand drum, and guitar I haven't had a stage necessarily of practicing rigorously and focusing on particular things when I practice. It's more like exploration of, here are the concepts I know, what can I do with them. But with tabla, it's so physically demanding that, you know, the only way you have to treat it like going to the gym. So yeah, that's kind of my practice. If I'm practicing tabla, I'll practice like an hour a day. Otherwise, my guitar always sits next to my desk. I always pick it up for 5 minutes and then put it back in. Music is continuous. Like if you have something in your mind, it's nice to have an instrument as close as possible so you can put it out.
Definitely, yeah. So how do you know when you're kind of in the flow when you're playing?
Yeah, I think flow is the state where your thought process and execution happen instantaneously. And so when I'm improvising, I feel a lot more connected and like focused in the moment than if I'm playing something that I've that's predetermined, that I've practiced before. If I'm playing something that I've practiced before, I'm like thinking about everything that's coming up, and you know, maybe my mind gets a little bit distracted. But if I'm improvising, it's kind of like if I'm having this conversation with you right now. If I just start talking about something else because I got distracted about what I was talking about, then you know, I'm not a very great conversationalist. So yeah, I think improvising is the most like grounded like state of playing for me, and eliminating the gap between, you know, thought and execution.
Fantastic. So are there certain steps you mentioned, playing versus improvising? But are there steps that you always take when you are sitting down to practice, or even when you're improvising for 5 minutes?
No, I have to say no, just because every practice routine is different. Yeah, I mean, it depends on, like, you know, there's playing your instrument and there's practicing it. And you know, me saying that I have my guitar next to my desk and I you know, play it from time to time, that's not really the same as like practice with, like, I need to do, you know, these scales, or I need to transcribe this song, or I need to, you know, that's like still fun but more work. Like when I just play, I just pick up the thing, and whatever I want to play, I'm playing it. So routine, not necessarily. Yeah, no, not really.
Great. And let the audience know, are there any projects that you're working on right now that we can look forward to in the future?
Yeah, so you can check out my website, michelvazirani.com, that I made in 2 days following, coming up to this interview. So it's kind of crappy right now, but michelvazirani.com. If you go there, you'll be able to see my album that I released over the summer. It's called Roofmen, and it's on Spotify. And right now I'm working on another tune that I'm just recording in my room, guitar, bass, some programmed drums, and maybe a synthesizer. And that should be out sometime, maybe December, January. I'm gonna finish recording the instruments soon, and then it's just me editing on my computer, mixing this thing. So yeah, new song coming out. It'll be on the website. Do I have an Instagram? I think I do. I'll link my Instagram in the website. Go to michelvazirani.com.
We'll link it in the comments.
Yeah. I'll comment in the comments, and I'll say comment, and then I'll say DM me, and then I'll put my Instagram tag, and my Twitter, and my YouTube, and my Facebook, and my phone number, and my social security number.
And we'll have that all available for you. Michel, thank you so much for doing this interview with us, for being our first Art Gem.
Thank you for having me.
Art Gem interviews. Stay tuned for more. Until next time.
Da-da-da-da.